Here we are once again for a weekly close with BTC. Are we going to close inside the Gaussian channel or above? Guys, in this video, we aim to try to predict what's going to happen in the next few hours to see what's going to happen next with Bitcoin. Guys, as we get into it, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. Really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, guys, with all that said, done, and out of the way, I think it's important that we start today's video off by talking about Crypto.com. This video has been sponsored by Crypto.com, the world's fastest growing crypto app. Currently with over 10 million users downloading and using Crypto.com, buying and selling over 200 plus cryptocurrencies at the true cost. Some cryptocurrency exchanges actually build their costs and fees into the price of the cryptocurrencies, which is why sometimes you actually see different prices depending on the different exchanges that you use. With Crypto.com, the fee is calculated separately. Therefore, you can calculate and see the actual true cost of the cryptocurrency that you're looking to acquire. Of course, the main reason that we really like Crypto.com is not only do they have an NFT platform, which is doing fantastic things, the own network that they've just had launched on the mainnet, but also the Visa card. So this is the prepaid debit card. Now, with this, you can basically use it to use your everyday expenses. So you can earn a nice cash back. I obviously get 3% cash back on the Jade Green card. Likewise, there's Chris, right? So when you're doing things like buying a Range Rover, in the case of Chris, he got 3% cash back on that. And when I buy things like the computer just behind me here, or the monitor here, or the camera gear that we use on the channel, all of that we get 3% cash back on. It's a fantastic way to earn a nice passive income. Now, that cash back is paid to you in this CRO token. So well worth kind of getting involved, because basically by using that on your everyday expenses, whether that's grocery shopping or buying a car, buying a computer, or whatever, you're going to be getting an appreciating asset back in that form of cashback. So it's a fantastic way to keep your portfolio building up over time as well. So guys, there's a link in the description down below. Do check out Crypto.com. If you do actually go ahead and sign up for one of their debit cards, you'll get a $25 bonus to get you going as well. Right, with all that done and out of the way, let's actually jump on down into the charts and take a look at Bitcoin. Okay, guys, so the main thing that we want to be taking a look at is this move just here. So there's a lot of things going on right now with Bitcoin, and this is the hourly. So I think it's important that we acknowledge, what's going on here in a moment, and the weekly close that we're looking for. But before we get there, the first thing we actually want to do is jump up into our weekly chart, and we're going to come over into our Bitstamp data. Okay, so we're going to use Bitstamp for this data because it has the most amount of information available to us, right? So we can see here that we have a lot of data for Bitcoin. Okay, it basically runs from 2011, and basically we can see, bull run A, bull run B, bull run C, etc. Right? So what we'll do is we'll turn on the Gaussian channel, the main kind of topic of conversation with this particular video. And the main thing we kind of want to acknowledge is, basically we had the 2013 bull run just up here. We had peak 1 and peak 2, right? We came down. People were thinking that we're going into a bear market, but we actually went parabolic and we kind of went up to this fantastic height here, and then we pulled back down, right? And when we actually pulled down, we tested the Gaussian channel, we failed to stay above it, and we fell inside, okay? And ultimately all the way through to being underneath the Gaussian channel, where this thing turned red. Now, on its own, and this is the very first kind of isolated incident to it, people might not have really acknowledged too much about it. But then we take a look at actually crossing back above this Gaussian channel and basically staying in this bull run for 2017, all the way above the channel. And as we come back down, we test it, we get rejected, we pull inside, and we fall underneath the Gaussian channel, okay? So one thing that we're kind of really acknowledging here is that every time we're in a bull run, we are, of course, above the Gaussian channel, and every time that we are in a bear market, we're inside / we are underneath, okay? We're inside or we're underneath the Gaussian channel. So this is kind of where we're kind of looking at, right? We're basically looking at this Gaussian channel, and we're saying we don't want to be closing inside this channel. We want to test it, move on out of it, and continue. And right now we are testing it quite heavily, okay? And therefore, if we do slip inside it, we should be aware of what might be to follow. Okay, so as we come down into this, we can see right here we are testing it. We are currently inside, right? Inside this Gaussian channel right now. So in the next few hours, we've got to basically get this reversed and got to start pushing back up and coming out of this Gaussian channel. Right now, we are heavily oversold on our weekly stochastic RSI, as we are on our hourly as well, right? So we should acknowledge that, you know, that basically there's a high probability of a bounce from this position, right? And again, we can take a look at this in a little bit more detail. We just take a look at the previous couple of years here. We can see that, yeah, we can see this on the screen. So right down here was the bear market low. Okay, the bear market low, we were oversold, and we pushed up in 2019 up towards this area of about $14,000, right? And again, we were overbought at that time, and we came back down to this oversold area, okay? And we can see that we were coming down into this area. We were testing the Gaussian channel where they got pulled down into here in late 2019. Now, if we remember what was actually going on back in 2019, that was basically the start of this global pandemic, okay? And then we start to see, you know, in December and so forth, we've written by March 2020, the entire collapse of the stock market, crypto markets, etc., right? So again, we had that push up here, back into the overbought area, back down into the oversold area, right? That was all going on right in this area here, okay? So once we kind of move past these areas and we kind of acknowledge, okay, right down here at the crash of March 2020, we were oversold, and we can start to see that we're pushing back up. We push up into the overbought area just up here. We have a small pullback to take us back down into the oversold area. This is effectively August 2020. Lots of people will be able to remember what was going on then as well, hopefully. Then we start to see a really good rise to the upside, okay? And then we start to wipe out that stochastic RSI as we get the bottom area here when we go back into the oversold area. Then we start to move rapidly back to the upside, okay? Right up to this all-time, not all-time high, but push up again August 2021, down in September, testing the Gaussian channel again, and again you see the small drop here on that stochastic RSI. We then push up into new all-time highs, back up into the overbought area, and right now we're testing that Gaussian channel as we are at this area of 1.16 on the stochastic RSI, heavily oversold, okay? So right now there's a high probability of taking that stochastic RSI from the low point of this weekly chart to a high point on this weekly chart, okay? So we are looking to push up in price, right, and push up on our stochastic RSI. Therefore, it's very unlikely that we're going to close inside the Gaussian channel, right? Just based on that alone, you know, it should actually be indicating that we are bullish, not bearish, right? Considering our position. Now, that's all well and good, but we have to consider that there's lots of manipulation going on with Bitcoin at the moment. We've spoken about this a few times on the smaller time frames, and we are, you know, potentially up against some of these real issues right now where we're testing this area heavily, and we are trying to get some form of recovery out of here. Now, we're looking for a closed candle at about 47,650. That should get us comfortably above the Gaussian channel. So that's kind of the area that we're looking for, okay? And this is on the UTC front, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to jump on down into our hourly chart, okay? And then we're going to expand this up and take that off for a sec, and we're going to come over to the Bitcoin or Binance data, okay? So first of all, we had this ABC forming today. So we had the ABC down, and then we started to see a push up and a pull back down, and basically right now we've actually invalidated this wave count, so we're going to have to remove it and remove our fib here. I'll just move that over there for a second so we get that weekly close idea. Now, obviously this is an interesting thing because we've got a lot of wave counts going on here, right? Lots of wave counts that are making a lot of sense all the way through. So to be completely thrown off, it would be incredibly odd, right? We do have our ABC here, we have an ABC down, but we don't have a valid ABC count on this hourly chart right here. Instead, what do we see? Well, this particular candle at 1400 hours on Binance USDT pair is interesting. We've got a high at 48,301 penny, and we've got a low at 47,000 exactly to the penny. Okay, i.e. we've been gifted both a resistance level and a support level on this area, right? It's very, very odd. And again, this whole chart is full of these anomalies, right? Again, we can take a look here. We have 47,777 to the penny. Just the hour before, that was a cap at the high end. So they were restricting it from going any higher, but they weren't restricting it from falling down any lower. Again, here you have another high at 47,300 to the penny, the hour before that. So that's 1,200 hours. As we come down, we can see some more here. At 1,000 hours here, we have 47,000 $1,222 dollars to the penny. Okay, so that basically you can get the idea. It's everywhere. It's all over these candles, and right now is also no exception. Right, the low on this current hour at 1900 hours is at $46,580 to the penny. Okay, before that it was 46,880 to the penny, and so forth. Right, I'm not going to go through them all, but you get the idea. And then this basically is making it really difficult to kind of understand where these wave counts actually should be, because they're not actually here in a very clear way. Okay, so we have to now be a little bit creative with our thinking. Okay, first of all, we do have an ABC up, and we do have this potential ABC to the downside inside here, before moving up in an odd shape right here. Right, so the first thing I think we're going to have to do is try to acknowledge that maybe this ABC is actually inside its own A wave in itself. Right, so if I grab hold of my my A wave here, maybe that's our A wave, and maybe we're coming down for a B wave low here, and maybe this was a C wave high, and then maybe we're looking for something different right now. That's one possibility. But if we go ahead and actually try to measure this, and we take that wave count and we throw it up here, it would actually be falling short of its usual kind of expected area of about 48,500. So again, I'm not 100% confident on that being the scenario either, but it does get our wave counts back in line with they then potentially need to be. And with that being said, it still leaves this area here then as a bit of an anomaly, something that hasn't really made a lot of sense. So for now, I'm going to kind of just remove a lot of these candles, remove a lot of those counts off. I'm pretty confident up to this point here, and this one was interesting, but we start to see these larger kind of candles form. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the stochastic RSI, acknowledge that it is at absolute zero. And in theory, we've run out of momentum to the downside, although it is still pushing down at the moment. 0.84 on the slow line, but you can see how these things are basically reaching a very, very critical moment. And this is an area that we saw before, when we start to see some bouncing really going on when you're down in this really low area. And for example, we saw this massive launch to the upside here before starting to see some corrective action to the downside. So we could be on the cusp of this kind of move right here, where we have this ABC down, and that actually then follows up with this big impulsive move to the upside, right? And again, that could happen very, very quickly. That was actually over the course of, I think, 5 hours. We haven't got that much time, but it will definitely take us above that threshold in the probably next 3 hours or so if that does play out. With that being said, we still don't have a valid wave count for an ABC to the downside. Okay, we have an incredibly high wick, and where we're pushing up, but then we're forced back down again. So you can see that actually was tracking quite nicely for a an ABC move to the upside here. So we could acknowledge that actually it's more of an ABC like this. Okay, that's kind of what we're looking for, and then we still need to understand what this next kind of move is. If this is an ABC to the downside, we could be looking at an A, a push up for B, and then a further C wave down at a later stage. Okay, so again, not going to fill that in just yet. We're going to see how it plays out, but it's very, very difficult to read the kind of motion that's going on here. Taking a look at the stochastic RSI and the current move that we're in, I would anticipate it's a push to the upside next. That should be the most likely and the most probable thing that we are looking for, and we should be looking for that weekly close above the Gaussian channel based on the positioning of this week, its hourly stochastic RSI. Okay, but this is definitely one that we're going to be watching closely. We are going to do a live stream tomorrow morning to kind of talk about what's going on, not only with Bitcoin, but with many of the other projects that we're invested in as well. So do join us for that. We'll do a lot more conversation over how this has actually played out and if this is any clearer by that particular point in time. So yeah, for now, unfortunately, not very clear with what is going on here with the wave counts. That's definitely looking like an ABC move, a little bit short of our expectation of a C wave, but we're not really finding this this area here meaning anything. I mean, we can go down into a 30-minute chart. Does it make a lot more sense? Well, we can see there's a little bit more here, but not too much. And again, heavily oversold on that 30-minute. If we go into the 15-minute, again, we have that high moment, oversold on the 15-minute. You could argue that this potentially has more of a wave count to it. We could potentially take it and say that there's a that's not even valid. Actually, it's definitely going to be an ABC. So you could argue that there is an ABC move here. We're waiting for the reversal on it. But again, it needs to ideally be on that hourly for a good, clear kind of viewpoint. We don't want to be mixing our wave counts across different timelines. We definitely want it to be all inclusive of one. So for now, we're going to have to just kind of rely on the fact that it is heavily oversold on pretty much most of the time frames, and that a push to the upside is inevitable. We need it to be this side of Sunday to get that weekly close candle in the right position above 47,650, and we'll have to come back and review the situation once it actually gets there. But for now, it's very unclear as to which direction this is likely to go. So guys, do join us first thing tomorrow morning. We'll put in the stream out together. We'll put the landing page together tonight, so you'll be able to get in the link to that, and do join us, and we'll talk about whatever the outcome is, what to expect if we are going to be slipping down into a Bitcoin bear market with alt season potentially starting there, or whether or not Bitcoin is then going to survive another week and we are still bullish on a BTC. So guys, if you have found this useful and informative, do hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.